Okay. Penn State going on the road at Minnesota. We've been talking about this game for a couple weeks. Line's currently 11.5 right now in favor of obviously Penn State. Got Drew Allert, quarterback. Got obviously the running backs, Nick Singleton and Katron Allen. Got Tyler Warren, do it all, jack of all trades guy at tight end. Still huge question marks at the wide receiver position for Penn State. On the other side of the ball, Minnesota's got a wide receiver in Daniel Jackson that would hands down be the wide receiver number one for Penn State
100%.
if he played for them.
Yep.
They've got Darius Taylor, who can run the ball really well. And Max Brosmer has quietly had a really good season transferring over to the FBS level. And I just think you look at Minnesota's record. I mean, they had that tough game against Michigan, lost a question mark last week against Rutgers. They've had a couple games to where, like, in that North Carolina game at the beginning of the year, again, those opening Thursday nights just killed Minnesota. And you're thinking, like, man, this team really they had a decent chance to be 7-3, 8-2 right now.
Yeah.
They're stuck there at 6-4, but you know that they're looking forward to this one. PJ Fleck is, no matter what you think of PJ Fleck, he is a very good motivator, and he can motivate the guys to come out and play well. It's going to be cold up there in Minneapolis. Penn State doesn't care about that. They play in State College, not a big deal. But I just think home environment, rowing the boat, man. They're going to be, I think it's going to be dangerous. It's a dangerous spot for Penn State.
I agree 100%. I think Minnesota's defense can keep them in this game. Not very high on Minnesota's offense, even though Max Brosmer's played well. And like you said, Darius Taylor, solid tailback. They got two solid tailbacks and a good. So they've got good players at the skill position group. They're a veteran offensive line. They're a veteran bunch on defense. Like, everybody going into this year, man, was just, the win total was at 5.5, and I took Minnesota over 5.5 wins, and they've already cashed that. And what I talked about is that the reasoning for I took that was, if you look at PJ Fleck's career back at Western Michigan and his time at Minnesota, last year, them not playing well was the outlier of his career. Just about every year, they're a team that wins somewhere between that 8-9, wins. And they've had a couple years they've won double-digit games. It's like people just forgot about that. And this Minnesota team's not a bad football team. And I think Penn State's a good football team. Like I said, we've got them ranked lower than what the committee has, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I think Penn State's a bad football team. I just think that Minnesota in this spot can play with Penn State. I think that both teams are going to have a tough time scoring. And so when I think it's going to be a lower scoring type game, defensive slugfest, I like the underdog in that spot, especially when they're getting double digits. I mean, it was up around 13 or so a couple of days ago, and now it's down to where it's at now, which is what I'm about to give out. I'm going to take a shot at Minnesota as a best bet. I'm going to take Minnesota plus 11.5 is where the line is at right now. And I think Penn State will find a way to win this game, but I don't think it'll be easy. I think it'll be one of those that they are just thrilled to get out of Minneapolis with a win, and they escape Minneapolis with the win. But I think the Minnesota covers the 11.5. I think it's because the Minnesota defense keeps them in this game. And I think Max Brosmer and some of those weapons you mentioned on offense for Minnesota can make enough plays on offense to keep them within the number.
Yeah, I like Minnesota in this one as well. Might be a little bit of, wanting to see Penn State out of the college football playoff. A little bit of that in me.
Avoid Matt Sars ain't going to like that.
I know. I just, everybody knows our thoughts on Penn State. If you followed our show and you've seen our rankings every week, we're not too high on them. So everything will play out. It'll be as it was supposed to be.